Swap out your refined carb and high glycemic, low nutrient pizza with this Superfood Pizza. It's plant-based and gluten-free, and it's super easy to make, and it can be modified for those with nut allergies.
The reason this is Superfood Pizza is because of the crust. It's made with the superfood quinoa. I'll give you some reminders about why you want to eat quinoa and why this pizza crust is a superfood delivery vehicle. Quinoa has a high nutritional value because it's a complete protein. That means it contains all 9 essential amino acids, which are really important for various bodily functions. It's also high in fiber, which is really good for your gut health, your heart health, blood sugar regulation, reduction in inflammation, and cancer prevention. And this is just to name a few benefits. It's also high in certain vitamins and minerals, manganese, magnesium, folate. These are just to name a few. Allergies to quinoa are really rare. And in fact, if anyone's bothered by them, what it is actually the sapopins, which are on the coating to the quinoa seeds. So that's why it's really important to always soak and rinse your quinoa before cooking it. So let's talk about the cheese on this pizza. For those avoiding dairy, this is for you. So the main ingredient is cashews. And this cheese is actually a pourable mozzarella, kind of similar to the Miyoko's pourable mozzarella. Cashews also have fiber, and they're also a heart-healthy source of fat, and they're also a source of protein. They're also a good source of copper, manganese, and magnesium, which are good for immunity, bone health, and brain function. Before I start showing you how to actually make the pizza and the cheese that goes on the pizza, I wanted to encourage you to get this pan. It's a 9-inch cake pan, but it makes a perfectly sized personal pan pizza, and otherwise you'll be pouring it into an 8-inch pan and it may be too thick. This spreads out the dough for the pizza quite nicely so that you have a thin crust pizza. And you can also make several pizza crusts at one time and then just freeze some for later.
So to start making the pizza crust, you're going to measure 3/4 cup of quinoa and place that in a bowl large enough so you can cover the quinoa with sufficient water to be at least 1 inch above the quinoa. And then you want to cover that with plastic wrap and then soak that for at least 8 hours. Then, as I mentioned, you want to drain and rinse the quinoa, and so that you'll see that some residue will wash off, and you want to thoroughly wash it and rinse it. Then, after fully draining the quinoa, place it in a high-speed blender. Then add 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, and lastly, 1/4 cup of water. You then want to blend all the ingredients on high until you have a fairly smooth batter. You'll have to occasionally stop the blender to scrape down the sides. You're going to want to prep your baking pan by placing a circular piece of parchment paper on the bottom, and then you want to lightly grease the paper and the sides of the pan. Then you just pour the batter into the pan. As you see, it's like a thin pancake batter, and you just want to pour that to cover the entirety of the bottom of the pan, and I actually distributed it throughout the pan with a spatula. Then you want to place your baking pan in a preheated 425 degree oven. Place it in the center rack, and you're going to want to bake this for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes of baking, remove the pizza crust from the oven and carefully flip the crust over within the pan and then remove the parchment paper and place it back in the oven to cook for another 10 to 15 minutes to your desired crispness. To make the mozzarella topping, you're going to start by measuring 1/2 cup of cashews, or in the alternative, you can use sunflower seeds, and then cover that with boiling water and allow it to soak for 30 minutes. Then drain the cashews or the sunflower seeds and place them in a blender. Then measure about 3/4 cups of water, just slightly shy of that, and add that to the blender. Then add 2 teaspoons of olive oil, 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, 3/4 teaspoons of salt, 1/8 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of light miso paste, 2 teaspoons of tapioca starch, and 2 teaspoons of nutritional yeast. To add some tang, you can also add 1 teaspoon of lemon juice or vinegar, but I didn't add it. Blend all the ingredients together until you have a smooth and creamy liquid. At this point, you're ready to assemble the pizza. So you can top the pizza with your favorite tomato sauce. I used one from Muir Glen, and it has a slight sweetness, which I like. After you've finished adding the tomato sauce, then you're going to pour the mozzarella onto the pizza in small rounds, and also pour a bit in a zigzag pattern to cover the pizza. But you don't want to cover it entirely. You want some of that red sauce peeking through the cheese. Then add your toppings of choice. To keep it simple here for demonstration purposes, I just added a few basil leaves. I then baked the pizza in the oven at 425 degrees for 10 minutes, and then I turned on the broiler and broiled the cheese for 3 minutes to get nice and brown. I added a bit of olive oil to the top of my pizza. As you see, this is a perfect personal pan pizza. You can cut it up into 4 large slices or 6 smaller slices, but it is fairly dense given its protein. And so I find that 1 or 2 pieces is sufficient for a meal. And when you serve this with a side of arugula, make a nice arugula salad with some balsamic vinaigrette, it's a delicious meal.
So let me know in the comments if you feel like a superhero after making and eating this superfood pizza. Also, check out these next videos for some more gluten-free and vegan recipe ideas. And if you have a favorite dish or meal that you would like help in converting to a gluten-free and vegan recipe, just let me know in the comments because I welcome these challenges.